When did the games we play go from this to this?
Oh! Oh my god! Oh! What? We're both fucking hip firing!
I've been gaming for the better part of 3 decades now, and I can confidently say that somewhere along my gaming journey, my mindset surrounding games shifted. Going back to the games from my childhood, there are experiences that immediately come to mind. I can almost hear those old startup chimes from the computer, feel the flicker of loading screens, and get butterflies in my stomach when the main menu of a brand new game would finally appear. To put it in other words, it was a simpler time. Sitting on the couch, controller in hand, and friends waiting for me to join the Xbox Live party so that we could dive headfirst into brave and new imaginative worlds. Games like Knights of the Old Republic, Skyrim, Assassin's Creed 2, Halo, The Force Unleashed, Fable 2, and BioShock. All of these games captured my imagination and sucked me into their worlds. Skyrim opened up a world unlike any I'd ever seen before, and it was mine to explore. Fable 2 had its quirky humor, fluid gameplay, and convoluted moral choices that felt so incredibly important to me at the time. The Force Unleashed was the first Star Wars game ever that made me truly feel like the embodiment of the Force itself. These games were doorways into entire universes beyond our own. Everything was fresh, new, and just waiting to be explored. And frankly, looking back on these titles, I give a little bit of a metaphorical sigh of contentment. During those younger years of my life, I didn't worry about competition or grinding out ranks in whatever games were hot on the market. My focus was on the sense of wonder and magic that they created. The stories they told were memorable. Some of the worlds were sprawling, some of them were dense, but all of them were unique and innovative in their own way. These were vivid, story-driven adventures that ignited my passion and left me in a constant state of awe. Gaming was about discovery, narrative, and wonder. But as time went on, the gaming landscape around me began to shift dramatically. Suddenly, everything felt faster, more competitive, more cutthroat. The era of the battle royale and persistent online shooters hit us like an absolute ton of bricks, and I found myself getting swept up in its wake. PUBG, Apex Legends, Super People, Warzone, Halo Infinite. These games demand reflexes, map knowledge, skillful teamwork, and a serious tolerance for dog teammates. I mean, a high degree of frustration. A single match is all it took to get my blood pumping, and the tension would just rise the closer I got to that win. And with that intensity comes a metric ton of anger, frustration, and pure rage.
Where did my bullets just go? Are you kidding me?
You get shot from who knows where, you watch your teammates drop like flies, or your carefully orchestrated plan just falls apart at a moment's notice. Then you queue up again, because maybe, just maybe, this next match will be the one.
Boom! 6 kills! Diamond! Let's go!
There's also the broader industry shift that definitely played a part in this as well. Everything became monetized, and the games began to build around constant engagement. Battle passes, seasonal events, limited time rewards. It's never-ending FOMO. If you stop playing, you'd miss out on that special skin or that new weapon meta, and then you're at a disadvantage or you feel left behind. It's just a never-ending cycle of toil that will wear down even the most resilient mind. Day by grueling day, I realized that gaming was becoming something different. Something that often left me more stressed than relaxed. And the further I went down that road, the more my game time started to feel like a job. Constantly chasing performance, anxious about rank, and fixated on stats or improvement. Don't get me wrong, there is an enjoyable thrill in these competitive titles, and they're absolutely a blast when you're playing with friends and everything clicks. But the atmosphere can turn toxic very quickly. Voice chats just full of shouting, insults, or blame, skill-based matchmaking that always pushes you to the limit, and of course, the corporate push to keep you coming back day after day. The deeper I got into these games, the more I felt my enjoyment was tangling with frustration and, at times, outright anger. But now, here's the real question. Why? Why is it that my interests have waxed and waned in such dramatic ways as the years have gone on? I mean, I always loved these older games that we talked about at the beginning of this video, but what are the core reasons that I continued to play these hyper-competitive FPS games despite them feeling like a chore instead of chill? After some thought, I boiled it down to 3 primary things. The first is content creation. With the simultaneous rise of high-skill streamers and battle royales, audiences' expectations to always push for that moment of shifted the mindset of the average gamer to be so much more intense. It kind of seemed like everyone all at once started playing PUBG, Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone. It became a race to see who would get a viral clip the fastest, and it kind of shames me to say it, but I definitely was mesmerized by that mindset. The second is FOMO. By the way, if you don't stay to the end of the video, you're going to miss something super important, so make sure you watch the entirety of the video right now. Thanks to our good friend Fortnite and Epic Games, we saw the industry terraform itself. AAA developers and publishers started prioritizing games as a service. Constant updates, new seasons, skin drops, collabs, microtransactions, and battle passes. It didn't matter how they did it so long as players were engaged. Keep them hooked, keep them spending time and money in the ecosystem. Prey on the psychology of missing out and falling behind. For quite a period of time, this design model and philosophy overpowered my ability to just get lost in a game's world. Last, and arguably the most important of all, nostalgia and history. As we grow older, the number of new and fresh experiences that are available to us become fewer and farther in between. Starfield doesn't even come close to becoming a memorable game for me when it's competing in my brain with Fallout 3 or Skyrim. It's not even as if Starfield is horrid in comparison to either of those games. Matter of fact, Starfield is, from an engineering perspective, better than both. So why is it that we prefer those older games that are outdated and have serious technical limitations? Because we played them first. There is more nuance to it than just that. But at its core, newer games will always struggle to make an impression on us because that space in our brain is already occupied with a bunch of really old, but really great games. Now, it would be pretty easy to take all this information and just stew in an eternal pit of self-pity and sorrow while I wait for the next season of Doo-Doo Shooter to drop with its Skibbity Toilet and My Little Pony collab. I could lament how my childhood innocence is gone and there's no hope for games to ever be as good as they used to be. But here's the hopeful twist in the narrative. You decide for yourself what about gaming is important. I've grown a lot over the years. The way I approach games has been permanently altered by the years that I spent playing hyper-competitive shooters. But why should that mean that I can't choose to lose myself in games anymore? While a younger version of myself would simply let go and be blissfully taken by the games in their world, the competitive FPS gamer that emerged in me through recent years has fought battles with him. But that's the beauty of it all. I don't have to choose between the two of them. Who I am today can find balance between playing to optimize and playing to experience. Baldur's Gate 3 is the quintessential D&D experience with masterfully crafted characters and story, but I choose to value maximizing Karlach's theoretical damage cap just as much as I value my failure to romance Shadowheart for the 5th time in a row. Elden Ring is the peak of blending art style, boss design, and world lore. But I choose to value dual-wielding colossal greathammers while wearing the heaviest armor in the game, all while not doing a heavy roll, just as much as a simple walk through the world with Torrent to appreciate the atmosphere. God of War is a grounded story about fatherhood, family, and coming of age. But I choose to value becoming a glass cannon, pushing how fast I'm able to take down bosses on the hardest difficulty, just as much as the emotions I feel when Atreus and Kratos embrace at the end of Ragnarok. We as individuals can't change the pattern of the industry, We can't alter the business models that be, and we can't magically re-experience things for the first time. What we can do is choose to mold our mindset and actions into something positive. For all the frustration and burnout that can come from being stuck in a cycle of competitive service-driven games, there's always a counterweight. A new RPG, a single-player masterpiece, a co-op adventure that's built around creativity rather than pure competition. Those are the experiences that remind me why I fell in love with games to begin with. I'm fully aware that this sounds contrived, but to me, they stand out like shining lights when everything else seems to be taking a darker path. People exist that are hungry to give us the stories, worlds, and experiences that help break us out from that lethargy that modern gaming has helped create. And I, for one, have made the choice to strive for balance in the way that I move forward and play my games. My hope is that after watching this video, you will too. If you're still watching at this point, I want to take a moment to thank you for getting all the way through this video. I sincerely hope it resonated with you, and if you enjoyed, please make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family. If you want to support me beyond that, consider stopping by coffee and throwing your boy a bone or two. This has been Caleb Anderson VO. Much love, I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next one.